An Australian politician, a Green senator, Lidia Thorpe, shouting at King Charles and Camilla and accusing him of committing genocide against our people. This just after he'd sat down from giving an address to the Australian Parliament. Let's have a little watch and listen of what she had to say.
It's not your land! It is not your land! You are not my king! You are not our king!
There was quite a lot of rude words, which of course we had to beep out there, but this is not your land. Now, I know pretty much everyone who watches and listens to this show disagrees with me on this issue, and you're totally entitled to, but I am actually Republican. I don't believe we should have an unelected head of state. Nothing personal against this. I thought the Queen did a magnificent job, never put a foot wrong on any of these fronts. However, and I've got a lot of time for people, the coronation and things, and I was very defensive of those people holding up a sign, you're not interfering with other people's enjoyment of an important bit of pageantry in our current and very popular system. Don't think people should impose their views and ruin other people's events at all. Shouting like that, that's just, look at me, look at me. That's not making a political point, is it?
Julia, I think it's totally performative. Yesterday the woman was unknown, now she's known.
Well, she is known there apparently because this is kind of her shtick. She's very big on indigenous rights, how awful Aboriginal people have been treated, about that. She was in big favour of the Voice referendum. But the thing is, again, Aboriginal people in Australia have exactly the same rights. Well, and access actually to more resources now than white and other Australians.
But I asked these people all the same question when I said, "Do you want to go back to the Stone Age?" Yeah. I mean, if that's what you want, that's fine. We'll work out a way till you get back to the Stone Age. I think Ed Miliband's on the same route, but it's we have to say to people, the world is as it is. We can't actually turn the clock back in any way.
But also, yes, the Australian government, people who arrived on those lands did some very awful things to Aboriginal people. Yes, and that's happened everywhere. Yeah. And again, it's the same with people asking for reparations from the UK. Like, horrible things happened every single place in the world at every single time. Till about 100 years since. But even then, they're talking about, Aboriginal children being taken away from their families. Yeah, you know what? That was happening to kids back in Britain and in Ireland and everywhere else where they were taking kids away from unmarried mothers and cruelly, separating them. I'm sorry. Horrible things have happened. Move on. I just think it's all just, as you say, it is performative. It is look at me, look at me. She's also, she's very, very much on the left. She's it's all about the Aboriginal rights, and it's again that's about dividing people by race and colour rather than people's interests and people's political views. But she's also
very
sort of pro-Palestinian. She
ticks all the boxes.
She ticks all the boxes for all the usual stuff.
It's also very bad manners. Even the Australians in the and I mean audience in the royal sense. Yeah. Thought you could see the expressions on their faces. They thought it was bad manners, even by Australian standards.
No, exactly. He's a guest in your parliament. I'm sorry, just rude. But then there's a way she can hold a sign up, or she can stand outside, or there's lots of ways she can do that. But screaming and shouting like an hysterical banshee, I'm sorry, I don't think really makes her case as well as she seems to think it does. But doesn't this tie in though with what we saw over the weekend? This story about Keir Starmer removing a portrait of Shakespeare from number 10. This follows portraits depicting Elizabeth I, Sir Walter Raleigh, Gladstone and Margaret Thatcher all being taken down since Labour government took power. Now, I know you want to, you change your office. You're allowed to change your office and have different pictures and things. But, by the looks of it, some of the modern... I like modern art, but good Lord, some of the stuff they put up. But this is a beautiful old building. The pictures suit the building. They are part of the history of our country. They are some of the greatest figures in our nation's history and culture. And somehow Keir Starmer doesn't seem to like or approve of them or respect them. That's quite telling, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm quite mixed on this. When I first heard the story, I thought he doesn't like that line in Henry VI Part 1 where Jack Cade says, "Let's kill all the lawyers." It might be that. But in fact, I don't mind people surrounding themselves with pictures of people who inspire them. I've got, I don't mind telling people Shakespeare, Oliver Cromwell, Michael Caine, and Mary Wollstonecraft around me. So that's my choice, and he's entitled. But it is a public space as well.
Yes.
So he's projecting not just himself, but also his office as Prime Minister. And some of the people he's removed represent the best of our country in the past. That's the point. And
but also, you don't have to, say with Margaret Thatcher, you don't have to, I mean, if you don't like Shakespeare, then I'm sure you don't understand British culture or literature at all. But like Margaret Thatcher, you don't have to agree with her politics. She was elected 3 times. She was, she's kind of regarded by many as the greatest peacetime Prime Minister of the 20th century. And small point, because my God, the Labour Party go on about this stuff the rest of the time. First woman Prime Minister.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, this stuff matters massively to them if it's on their side, and then they completely ignore her existence when it comes to this. I mean, that was an achievement.
I don't mind people's personal taste. I just think, same with the Chancellor next door, it's about ideological...
It is.
Sort of virtue signalling. It's all sorts of the wrong things.
It's the equivalent of Keir Starmer taking down portraits of Thatcher and Shakespeare and Gladstone and Elizabeth I, Walter Raleigh. This is just the equivalent of Keir Starmer turning up in a Che Guevara T-shirt at a party. It's just, oh, look at me.
And wanting to be clapped for
yes. I mean, it's just, although, of course, he'd only go to the party if he got free tickets and if there was a blue light escort for Taylor Swift and our mum. But there we are.